Watching the radar again, it's going to be a messy commute, but later this afternoon, we should actually see some sunshine.
Yeah, and we're going to take you through that messy morning commute together. Just look at the lens on this camera. The WRAL Storm Tracker is out and about, and we'll check in a few moments there. This is a live look at Cary Park right now. You can see how wet it is there right now. Expect more rain on the way as you leave your house.
And an encouraging economic outlook. What today's new inflation report could reveal about the prices you're paying at the store. And our weather is encouraging. It will be later this afternoon when our highs reach 60 degrees. Good morning, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, that'll be some twist, huh? And maybe we can't say it's just raw and nasty. It's just going to be kind of...
It is now.
Yeah, yucky. But it is now. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with that look at radar.
Yeah, we're waiting on some warmer air, but it may not get here until closer to lunchtime or afterwards. So it is another cold, kind of miserable start this morning. We have some scattered showers around the triangle and plenty more rain back to the west. This will be with us through the morning commute and possibly as late as lunchtime. So rain in Chapel Hill and Durham. Had a little shower over Raleigh earlier too. Apex as well, on up toward Henderson, Roxborough, South Hill. So here's a look at where we are right now with this band of showers, and you can see it really filling in right through the morning commute between 6 and 7 o'clock. It's steady to heavy across the viewing area. You can see that lasts until around 10 a.m. or so, and then by lunchtime it is out of here and we should start to see some clearing. It's cold out there, 32 in Roxborough, so it's another morning that you want to watch out. There could be a little bit of light icing with that temperature of 32, 35 in South Hill, 42 in Fayetteville, so it's a little bit warmer down south. Waiting for our wind to shift to southerly, and when it does, it will deliver some milder air, but we may only creep up to around 60 this afternoon. We do have some sunshine, more sunshine in the forecast for Valentine's Day. I'll show you coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. Well, that rain is making for a messy morning commute. Kelsey Coffey is live in Raleigh in the WRAL Storm Tracker this morning. Kelsey, where are you exactly?
Renee, right now we just got on 40 and we're not seeing any rain here so far in Cary. We'll give you a live look now at road conditions, but you can see that there's just still a lot of leftover water here on the roadways, so it may be a little bit slick out there. I do know that it was raining in this area maybe about 30 minutes ago, an hour ago, but as Elizabeth mentioned, we're really expecting to see that rain between 6 and 7 o'clock, so at the height of the morning commute. So you want to make sure that you give yourself a little bit of extra time before you head out the door. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
Make sure you have the WRAL News app with notifications turned on. We'll alert you to changing weather conditions and traffic issues across the area.
New inflation data out today. It's due today. It'll give us a clearer picture of how inflation is affecting businesses and shoppers. The Producer Price Index comes out one day after the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. It showed inflation is hotter than expected. And WRAL's Eric Miller joins us live this morning. These reports, Eric, will lead to how the Fed thinks about interest rates.
Jeff, that they will, and business leaders, economists, investors, they're all going to be looking really closely at this report to see what it is indicating about this economy and what it means for businesses and consumers as the Federal Reserve continues to try to track and tackle inflation. As you said, this is coming right on the heels of yesterday's CPI report. That report showing that inflation in the last month was higher than expected, coming in about 3% year over year. That number, not great news for the economy, sent stocks tumbling here. This is what Fed Chair Jerome Powell had to say yesterday, speaking to lawmakers after that report was released.
The CPI reading was above almost every forecast, but I would just offer a note of caution on this. Two notes of caution. One is we don't get excited about one or two good readings, and we don't get excited about one or two bad readings.
Now, with both the CPI and PPI out here, it will give economists a better sense of whether this is going to be a good report or a bad report for the economy. Again, comes out 8:30 this morning. We'll be watching very closely to see what those numbers have to say. In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
President Trump says today's the day he'll sign off on reciprocal tariffs. He says they could affect almost every country. Trump wants the U.S. to effectively match the tariffs other nations impose on U.S. goods. The timing is notable. The CPI report released yesterday shows inflation rose 3% last month, and that's higher than expected and above the Federal Reserve's target. Many economists worry potential trade wars could amplify inflation even more.
This morning, we are waiting to learn who died after the Harnett County Sheriff's Office says a deputy shot him. It happened at a home in Lillington, and it shut down Neals Creek Road for several hours. The Sheriff's Office has not named the deputy who shot the man. The SBI says deputies responded to a 911 call at that home. Then they saw a confrontation, and that led to a shooting. Neighbors say that they are concerned after this happened in what they call a usually quiet neighborhood.
Just heard like a loud bang, and then within a couple minutes started hearing lots of sirens, obviously a lot of police cars, and then an ambulance, and then saw a person down on the ground, and then, fairly quickly was taken away in an ambulance.
The SBI is helping in this investigation. That is standard procedure when a member of law enforcement fires a gun. Sheriff's Office will release the names of those involved after they notify families.
Happening this morning, senators will make their final vote on whether to confirm Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as Health and Human Services Secretary. Democratic senators debated until 1 a.m., protesting his nomination. The Senate is scheduled to vote this morning at 9:30. Democrats are highlighting Kennedy's debunked claims about vaccines, his views on abortion, and the threats he could pose to programs like Medicaid. Yesterday, the Senate advanced his nomination along party lines. It appears Democrats do not have the votes to block his confirmation.
A state Senate vote could affect your health coverage. Senators passed a bill that would limit what insurance companies are required to pay for. North Carolina currently mandates 58 types of medical coverage. Republicans who proposed this bill say if the list keeps growing, costs will rise. Democrats pushed back, saying more coverage is needed rather than less. One person we spoke with says she's worried unexpected health care costs could mean unpaid bills.
And there'd be something that didn't get paid, whether it be car insurance, food on the table. There'd be something you'd have to give up. I try to stay healthy.
Next up, the bill is headed to the State House of Representatives.
New this morning, a U.S. Border Patrol agent was involved in a use of force incident in Texas. This happened last night in the village of Boca Chica. Officials say an agent was responding to suspected smuggling activity when the agent shot his weapon. At least one person was shot and received medical attention. And according to Customs and Border Protection, the agent was not injured. Wake teachers are calling on the county to help fill funding gaps for facility and building repairs. They rallied at Raleigh Moravian Church yesterday, but cameras were not allowed inside. The group tells WRAL they want county commissioners to put a school infrastructure bond on the ballot for the district's aging schools.
At least 5 people were killed this morning after a gas explosion at a department store in Taiwan. Authorities say at least 8 others were hospitalized. This happened at the food court on the 12th floor of a store, and it was under construction there. This is what that floor looks like now. Look at the devastation. The local media says 2 tourists from Macau were killed in that explosion.
A registered sex offender will face a judge today after the sheriff's office says he was on high school property. 37-year-old John Taylor was arrested yesterday. Deputies used GPS monitoring to confirm Taylor was on Douglas Byrd High School's campus in Fayetteville on Tuesday. He is in the Cumberland County Detention Center without bond.
We'll take a look at this possible tornado that touched down in Columbia, Mississippi. The National Weather Service has not yet confirmed if this was a twister. I don't know if it touched the ground there. It certainly looks like one. You can see debris was thrown all around that town yesterday, and officials say businesses and homes were also damaged. No injuries were reported.
President Trump spoke with both Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky about the war in Ukraine. According to a social media post by President Trump, he and Putin agreed to have their team start negotiations to stop the war. Following his call with Putin, Trump had a phone call with Zelensky. And Zelensky says he's working with Trump to achieve lasting, reliable peace after nearly 3 years of Russia's full-scale invasion. During the campaign, Trump said he would end the Ukraine war on day one. That hasn't happened. Hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians have been killed since Russia invaded.
New details are out in the investigation of the Titan submersible implosion, the chilling recording captured on the day of the disaster.
We are tracking more rain this morning. Here's a live look at Durham from the American Tobacco campus. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will show us how much more rain we have on the way for the weekend.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It is 4:43 and rain is headed our way. Look at this. You can see some showers in Raleigh and Durham. Notice the pink shaded area. I'm not surprised to see that. Roxborough right now sitting at 32. Yesterday we did have a little light glazing in the trees. No other problems. It was just wet on the roads. We didn't have any slick bridges up there. So that was good news. So a little bit of that potentially near the Virginia line, and then a whole lot more rain back to our west coming our direction. This is a live look at downtown Raleigh, and you can see that the camera lens is wet. Fayetteville Street is wet. It's just going to be another chilly, uncomfortable day. Our temperatures are ranging from the upper 30s to low 40s across our area right now. And as we head through the day today, we will likely see temperatures warming up to right around 60, a little sunshine before the end of the day.
The U.S. Coast Guard has released a new audio recording believed to have captured the moment the Titan submersible imploded. In this recording, you hear a loud noise that sounds like an underwater thunderclap, followed by silence. That clip was recorded by NOAA about 900 miles away. It was on the day of the implosion back in June 2023. Officials say they believe the sound was the submersible buckling under the water's pressure, instantly killing the 5 people on board. The Coast Guard panel investigating the disaster heard 2 weeks of testimony last September. They're expected to release more information about the implosion in the future.
Today marks 2 years since a mass shooting at Michigan State University. Now a former student who witnessed the tragedy is suing the school. The $50 million lawsuit claims the university ignored security concerns months before the incident. Former student Justin Bowman was in the classroom where the shooting began in 2023. The lawsuit claims he suffered emotional distress and trauma from witnessing the death of his classmates. 3 students were killed and 5 others were injured. Michigan State has not commented on the lawsuit.
Your time is 4:45 here in the WRAL Live Center. Just over the feeds not that long ago, we have learned that Honda and Nissan have hit the brakes on their merger talks. They were back in December discussing the possibility of merging, essentially to strengthen each company's position with electric vehicles against Chinese companies. But Nissan has dealt with significant debt, so this deal would have been a lifeline for them. But now that the deal has been called off, it's unclear what it means for them and Honda, too, going forward.
Thanks for that, Chris. Actress Scarlett Johansson is calling on lawmakers to take action and protect Americans from the dangers of artificial intelligence. This comes after a deepfake video of Johansson and other celebrities was widely circulated on social media this week. The AI video implied the celebs were responding to the latest anti-Semitic remarks from Kanye West. West has faced major backlash for selling swastika T-shirts on his clothing brand's website. He advertised the website during the Super Bowl, igniting instant outrage. Johansson condemned anti-Semitism, but emphasized that it was important to call out the misuse of AI, regardless of the messaging. Some Blue Cross Blue Shield customers will soon see a payout from a class action lawsuit. The health insurance giant agreed to pay over $2.5 billion to those impacted. The lawsuit claimed it broke antitrust laws. While the suit has been settled, Blue Cross Blue Shield denied any wrongdoing.
It is 4:47 and we're starting out chilly and then also some rain out there in the viewing area. Are we ever going to see the sunshine again? That's what we want to know. Elizabeth Gardner, please say the sun will come out.
It looks like it will later this afternoon, but sometimes when we're in a pattern like this, it's really tough. We have our wind really coming out of the northeast right now, and that's a pattern that we call cold air damming, or we call it the wedge pattern, and we just get stuck in it, and it takes a pretty powerful warm front to move through to scrape it out of our area, and so it is definitely going to be something that we're going to be with for a while, and hopefully this afternoon we'll be out of it. It definitely, if we don't get to it this afternoon, it definitely looks like we'll have a better chance tomorrow of seeing some sunshine, but fingers crossed. You can see some rain back to our west, right around Raleigh and Durham. We're seeing some scattered showers. That's up I-85 as well, and then plenty of rain that's back to the west too. So the best chance of rain that we'll see is as we get through the morning commute, and that's of course terrible timing for showers. So just be on the lookout for that. This will move on by, and we'll see some cooler temperatures as we get into the day tomorrow, and highs will be in the mid 50s. As we get into the weekend, we're looking at more unsettled conditions, and we'll talk more about that coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. FedEx is in full bloom, and we'll show you how workers are handling all the shipments of flowers this Valentine's Day.
And more nonstop destinations, the new flights you can catch out at RDU.
.452 is the time right now on your Thursday morning. Good morning to everyone in Franklinton right now. Wet streets out there, as you see. Temperatures mid-30s to upper 30s, depending on where you are in our viewing area. And another up and down wet one on the way here today with that rain coming.
Valentine's Day is tomorrow, which means it's crunch time at many FedEx facilities. Workers at the shipping giant's Miami Distribution Center play a key role making sure that all the fresh flowers arrive in perfect form. From roses to lilies, FedEx Express expects to transport more than 2.4 million pounds of flowers from South America. They are quickly loaded onto trucks and planes, heading to flower shops and front doors just in time for the holiday.
After 5 seasons and 15 primetime Emmy Awards, one of the most talked about TV shows of the past decade is ready for its final chapter. David Daniel has that in today's Hollywood Minute.
They believed that these garments that they put on our bodies told the world who we are. To mark us, they put us in red, the color of blood. They forgot that it's also the color of rage. The dress became our uniform. And we became an army.
Here's your first look at the 6th and final season of The Handmaid's Tale. The Emmy-winning series, set in a dystopian future ruled by a fundamentalist theocratic dictatorship, returns to Hulu with 3 episodes on April 8th, then weekly until the finale on May 27th. Another honor for Cynthia Erivo. GLAAD is giving the Oscar nominee its Stephen F. Kolzak Award, which goes to an LGBTQ media professional who's raised visibility and promoted acceptance of LGBTQ people and issues. The 36th annual GLAAD Media Awards take place in Los Angeles, March 27th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Velo Airlines is celebrating another nonstop flight at RDU. The first nonstop flight to Montego Bay, Jamaica, returned safely to RDU yesterday afternoon. The airport's fire department greeted the flight with water cannons after it landed because we needed more water yesterday. The airline set up a base at RDU more than 2 years ago. Velo is adding a nonstop flight to the Dominican Republic as well, Punta Cana. Its first flight is next week.
So overcast, you could barely see the arch there, but it was there. Online DMV services and self-service kiosks will not be available for an extended time on Saturday due to a planned outage. It's expected to start at midnight and last through 7 that night. In addition to online services and kiosks being unavailable, access to state DMV systems used by partners and vendors will also be down.
White House tours will resume later this month. First Lady Melania Trump made that announcement. Tours will begin February 25th and must be requested through members of Congress. Requests may be submitted up to 3 months in advance. Tours are scheduled on a first-come, first-served basis. Every 4 years, the tours are stopped for a short time during presidential transitions.
The 2025 North Carolina Bird Count is just a day away. The annual event is part of the Great Backyard Bird Count. Tomorrow through Monday, everyone is invited to report observations of their local birds directly to global science platform eBird. The checklists help scientists track changes in bird numbers over time. Birders who submit at least 3 checklists on the eBird app can earn an embroidered badge from science across North Carolina.
Registration is open for 2 cool activities hosted by the North Carolina Aquarium at Fort Fisher. They're holding yoga classes and sip and paint events with the Cape Fear Shoals habitat as the background. Yoga is held every first and third Wednesday of the month through September 17th. Sip and paints are every second and fourth Thursday through September 25th.
A new bill proposes to raise the speed limit on North Carolina interstates. The bill would raise the maximum speed limit to 75 miles per hour. That's up from the current 70 miles per hour. The DOT would set the new speed limit after conducting an engineering and traffic investigation. The bill would also change several speeding penalties.
It's been a productive year for military missions in action. The nonprofit organization in Fuquay-Varina says its volunteers traveled 20,000 miles in 2024, delivering support to more than 250 veterans and their families. 30 building projects were completed, providing housing for more than 1,400 veterans. They sent 3,100 care packages to service members overseas and distributed gifts to nearly 1,000 military families. We have the WRAL Storm Tracker out there on the roads for you this morning, so you get a look before you head out on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. This is a live look right now, I-40 in Durham. We'll tell you what you can expect for your commute.
And Backstreet's back. All right. When you can get tickets to see them perform at the Las Vegas Sphere.